Hey, what's up you guys, it's Simon. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are going to be messing around with this, I guess, map editor, sort of, that someone made to help people plan their New Horizons towns or villages or islands, whatever you want to call them. So I thought it would be really fun to plan my New Horizons town because my friend bought the game for me and I'm very excited for it. And I have absolutely no idea whatsoever, especially what I'm going to do now that you can terraform, which is really interesting. I know I'm not really doing gaming too much, or if at all, on this channel, but I wanted to do this video because I noticed that their paths are sort of like close enough to skin tones, so I wanted to see if I could plan my town in this and actually come up with something that's happy and good and nice for me, and two, if I can use this to draw. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I know I want to do is I want to sort of get rid of most of the river areas in this pre-made map. I've been seeing other people use different maps, but because I'm using my iPad, it's only giving me the one. So I basically am just trying to clear this out so that I can just start from scratch and sort of put my rivers wherever I want them. This is going to be a pretty difficult video, I'd say, for me to film, not because it's like hard to film, but more because when I do like my Animal Crossing towns, I like to sort of refresh the map until I get something that's sort of like fits, this is so hard to explain, that fits sort of like what I do, if that makes sense, like how often I'm gonna move around. I like to make sure like popular buildings that I'm going to be going to a lot, like the town hall, are really close to Main Street so that I can do whatever I need to do and do it quickly and not have to spend most of my time running across town. But because this is a deserted island and there is no Main Street and there is nothing to sort of start from, I guess you could say, I have no idea what I want to do. The only thing I know for sure is I really want my house to either be right next to a river, or I've kept this elevated area right here because I like the idea. Some girl pointed out in her video that like a house on a cliff by the sea or something, like Ponyo, and I was like, I love Ponyo. And I've always liked the idea of having like a little mountain house, so I really think it would be kind of adorable to have this little like elevated area in the corner where my I don't know what to call them because they're not a mayor, they're just a resident. So I guess where my resident would sit up here. And I've kept this elevated area here as well because I think airplane. I think that I want maybe areas like, it's not technically Main Street, but places where you would place like the Able Sisters and what do they call it? It's not It's not Nickling Junction or anything like that. I don't know what Timmy and Tommy's shop is called in New Horizons, but I'm assuming I'm going to be placing their shop somewhere elevated as well. I got this idea in my head that I really wanted there to be like, again, another elevated area, but I wanted it to be like, I wanted there to be a big pond in the center of it, and then have another second level that would be like a lot of like foresty, like sort of natural area, if that makes sense. So I'm going to block in that area because I do want that to be kind of big, because I think that's going to be a majority of where my trees are going to be, other than, you know, scattered naturally throughout the thing, because I think that's part of what I was trying to say earlier. When I make my Animal Crossing towns, I always just try to build off of what is naturally there already. I know you can terraform in the previous games, but you could decide sort of where your bridges went and where you placed your trees and your flowers, obviously, and things like that. And I just liked to go off of what was naturally already in the game. But because we can terraform and make all of these changes, I really want to I guess, use that to its fullest extent, you know, like actually experience making some really not permanent, but like really drastic changes, I guess, to the island. So I'm going to slap whichever, I don't exactly know which one of these is meant to represent your residence house, but I'm just gonna say it's the big boy, and I'm gonna put it right there. And like I was saying, I know I want there to be like a sort of pondish area, and I'm not doing like the exact shape, I guess. I'm just sort of doing the general area that I would like there to be shops and things and water and all of that, because obviously your town's gonna start, or your island is gonna start off a lot different than just this exact map that you're getting in this editor. By the way, I don't know who made this, but I believe it's called Happy Island Designer, and I found it as soon as I typed Happy Island Designer into Google. It's the first link, so you shouldn't have too much difficulty finding it. Oh, what is this? Go away. You shouldn't have too much difficulty finding it, but if I remember, I will link it down in the description so that you guys can build your own towns as well, or draw in it like I will be doing here very soon. So, yeah, I wanted to have this elevated sort of like lakeish area just because I really liked the idea of having like sort of the hub of where you're going to be spending most of your time to be really natural and pretty and have a lot of flowers and just forest and things like that. I know when I would use the Dream Suite, I was really inspired by all of these towns that were just like really just embracing the foresty aesthetic, like people who would intentionally leave like weeds and things in their town because they were like, again, they're like really natural, just like beautiful sort of things, and I really liked that. So I do want to embrace nature and stuff in my island. I don't think I'm really gonna end up with a very tropical island just because that's not really the aesthetic I go for when I make my village in Animal Crossing. And even with my island, I'm guilty of being one of those players that completely tears up their island to maximize the amount of beetles that they can capture, because I don't really care too much for like all the hibiscus flowers and stuff. In real life, they're gorgeous and I love them, but in Animal Crossing, I'm gonna sound so mean, but I think they're low-key a bit of an eyesore. They might be different in New Horizons. They might look different in New Horizons once we've got new graphics and more HD things and stuff like that, but personally, I don't like them very much. I don't think they're my favorite thing to look at. I do like to pop them, like the bushes and the palm trees on the beaches, but I don't really like to have them in my town too much. So now I'm just sort of slapping trees around this. This is the area that's meant to be my residence sort of thing. I do like to, oh, I hate this. Okay, in the actual editor, it won't do this to you, but because I'm using it on an iPad and I don't have a keyboard or anything in order to undo or backspace or anything, if I accidentally place a little tree and want to get rid of it, I just have to throw it to a corner and pretend it's not there. But anyway, so yeah, I just like to have my sort of mayor area separated from all of my villagers and have my villagers closer together, because it's a lot easier for me to sort of like go about my daily chores, I guess, and talk to everybody and make sure that everybody's getting their requests taken care of and things like that. I know that's hard to explain, but yeah, I just like to have my mayor separate and sort of like look out look out to all of my villagers and stuff. And again, it is going to be different in New Horizons. You're not the mayor, but because you sort of are doing all of the same things as the mayor would have, I'm probably going to end up calling them the mayor a lot in this video. But yeah, if you, oh, whoa, no, whoa, what have I done just then? I was going to ask you guys, how many of you are getting New Horizons? Are you excited about the game? What was your first Animal Crossing game? Just answer all of those questions in the description, because I'm super excited and I need people to talk about Animal Crossing with. Personally for me, I'm not one of those people, I wish I was, that started the series out as a young child. My first Animal Crossing game in particular was Animal Crossing New Leaf. I was a huge newbie to the series. I don't even remember what exactly brought me to New Leaf. I think I I think I like, this is gonna be so weird. I was like maybe 13 or something, and I was with my mom, and she literally, she's such a weirdo, and she likes, this is gonna be so gross, she likes to pop people's pimples, and I was 13, so obviously I had a ton of them, and this is so gross, I'm so sorry, but there was this one, and I was like, I'm not gonna let you touch my face, I don't want to, this hurts, you're crazy, no, you're such a weirdo. And she was like, if you let me pop it, we will go to GameStop right now and I will buy you a game. And I was like, okay. And I'm pretty sure that might be how I got a Happy Home Designer, but I think that was how I got New Leaf. So I was like, I let her, and then she brought me to GameStop, and I'm pretty sure I picked up New Leaf. And it was a really, really fun game. I really liked it. I thought it was really pretty. I was one of those people that got super, super obsessed with New Leaf and made tumblers. I had like those little... My camera cut off. I'm not exactly sure where, but basically, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I'm trying to decide where to place my rivers, I suppose you could say. So I think I want to have like a waterfall towards the front of my residence house, and then sort of have it spill out into a river, I guess. In the actual map editor, like on PC, there is a way to extend the brush size, so it'll make it a little bit easier for you to place your rivers and not so finicky like it is for me here. You can use like a bigger brush, but basically I think I just want them to run nicely throughout town, so I'm gonna place some of the bigger buildings. I believe this is the museum, so I want the museum to be sort of over here. I think it might be Nookling Junction, actually. And Able Sisters right down at the bottom. A dock would have to be somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where I want to place that. I think I want to place it toward like right here and have it be this way, and then I want to have another elevated platform, but not too elevated platform, where I would have the lighthouse and maybe like some sort of like, and there's no way to exactly plan this out as far as like the little icons you get, but I think it would be cute to have like the lighthouse on an elevated spot and then have it a little more elevated where the actual lighthouse goes, and then have this be sort of like a little hangout area that isn't quite on the beach. Like maybe it would be good for like camping or something and overlooking the beach maybe, and then having like the actual like beach furniture and things down on, again, the actual beach. But I think it would be really nice to have like a sort of raised area with the lighthouse that isn't quite the lighthouse, if that makes sense. Or quite the beach, I mean. So it's like up there, and then everything else is like still sort of foresty and things like that, but a little bit different. I'm talking, this is gonna be such a long video. I mainly wanted to film this because, again, like I said, I thought it would be fun to try and draw with the colors that we are given for paths. They're intended for natural paths and things like that. Oh my gosh. They're intended for people who are planning out natural paths, but I don't really like to place paths just because, for me personally, a lot of thought goes into it, and it's something that I personally have trouble with focusing on, so I prefer to just let things like that sort of happen naturally. And I know they don't have grass erosion, I guess you could say, but I do take steps to like mark where I move through the most. Like I'll place like flowers around certain areas that I go around and things like that, so that'll make it easier for me to create my paths. But when it comes to just looking at this map, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do something like that. So get this area sort of carved in a little bit more, and then I might move Nookling Junction back closer towards that, and Able Sisters right across from it. Or actually, I think I want to have Able Sisters down a little bit more, and the museum a little bit back towards that area, and then I can have some flowers or something there, because I think that would be cute. So I'm just gonna slap some fruit trees around. And again, these aren't exact coordinates or areas or anything like that. I'm just trying to get a vision, I guess, for what I kind of want. So yeah, everything's very foresty here. Let's see. I also saw there was like another one a girl was using that had flowers and stuff, but I don't see that. If it was like an option that was available, I'd probably stick some right up here in the corner. So yeah, now I just need to figure out how I want my water to flow throughout town. I think I'm just gonna have it be like very simple and then just have it run off right here, and just like a classic like not middle part, because like this isn't hair, but like just like cut straight through the map. And again, this is not gonna be perfect because I'm not using the actual editor. I'm using it on iPad, which is I don't think how it was intended, but I am really pleased with the fact that you can use it on iPad because it does actually help me. And I do want to place like a couple random like just ponds that are very small that we can get some rocks around and things like that, because obviously in regular Animal Crossing they do have just natural little ponds scattered throughout your town. So I'm gonna do something like that. I wanted to add like a little heart pond with like somewhat of a beach right here, but I think that would be kind of overkill with all of the wrong color. All of the things that are going on in that area, so I figured just a little pond with like some rocks around it, and then like actual public work projects and things like that, to make it a little simpler. So there is that, and then I think everything else is mostly just going to be left up to public work projects, you know, not anything that's necessarily going to be too crazy. I do need to, oh, that's the wrong thing. I need to move the residential services right there. I kind of, well, I'm not sure if you get to choose where your airport is. I'm assuming you have to put it here. I'm assuming that's where the airport is in the actual game, and that's why it's placed there. And I wanted my residential services to be near the airport, but at the same time I'm kind of wondering if I want to move residential services in between that area, and then because it'd be just more convenient, because I'm imagining that I personally would be going to residential services quite often, and having it near my house would be very convenient, but not too close to my house, and having it sort of dead center between all of the things that I'm going to be going around the most, I think would probably be the best idea. I'm sorry if this video is so long. I will definitely be putting a timestamp in the description or maybe somewhere in the video so you guys can get to me actually drawing with this thing. But because I've been seeing so many people excited about New Horizons, I thought maybe you guys would be excited about it too. So yeah, we're getting close to the end of planning the town, I would say. I think I'm going to drag residential services a little more towards the front here, and I'm actually going to get rid of this tiny rock pond because I don't like it. At least not right there with residential services in the way. Let me add some bridges, because I imagine I'm going to be crossing them quite often. See, this is like a more diagonal bridge. That didn't work. I meant to grab this one, but that also won't work, I think. But you guys will understand what I mean. It's technically supposed to be at an angle. I don't think I'll really need... Well, I can probably put one here because I imagine I'm going to be on that side of town eventually, and I won't want to... Oh, did not mean to do that. I'm not going to want to run all the way to the other bridge just to get across. So yeah, I probably have one at a little bit more of a diagonal, but this is the best we can get. Let's see. I think I'm going to stick my villagers. I like to, again, have them all close together. So I think what I want to do, I don't really want to make a moat, but I kind of want to make a moat. I think it would be really cute to have like just them sort of condensed into one spot, and then, oh, that's the sand. Just have them sort of surrounded by like a nice little pond or something. I don't know. Again, this is something that looks nice on the map, as nice as it can look, of course, but might not necessarily be the most practical thing in game. That's going to be something I'm going to have to experiment with once New Horizons actually does come out. I'm going to use these as my villager houses, and then just sort of, yeah, stamp them. They're obviously going to be a little bit in more of a grid shape, but I'm trying to get through this as fast as possible for you guys, because I'm sure you guys are sick of me planning my town by now. But so yeah, this is our basic map, I guess. A lot of this is going to have to change in the future just to see how things work in game, see how practical things are, but I hope you guys like it. Maybe I can sneak in that little heart river / pond thing here, because that won't be too awful. I didn't mess with the beaches too much, just because, like I said, I don't really care too much, and that some people could care less. I don't mind that we're on an island, obviously, that's not my issue. It's hard for me to style things tropically, so I'm more of like a foresty type aesthetic, so that's where that's coming from. But yeah, so there's our little island. I hope you guys like it. And yeah, so a lot of it is gonna change, but there's what it is so far. So I'm gonna take a screenshot for purposes of when I get New Horizons in my hands. And now we are going to clear this map. I don't know if it will let me because I have airplane mode on. Yes, it did let me. Okay, so now I'm going to speed this next clip up. I'm just gonna wipe everything out in this blue oceany color and try to make sort of like just a base for us so that we can start getting into the actual drawing. Okay, so I went ahead and cleared everything off camera just because I felt like this video is already getting really long and you guys are not here to see any of that. So what I'm gonna do really quickly is I am going to swatch all of our colors in the corner coordinate here just to see what sort of gradients we have to work with. And to me, it does look like we have a nice base, shadow, and highlight tone, so that should not be too difficult. We do have like a sort of, I don't know why I can't color that. We have this sort of darker color meant to use for the rocks that we could potentially use in order to do some line art if I'm crazy enough to do line art, probably not. And then obviously, of course, there is our sand color, which I think actually is a little bit lighter than this color here, so that might serve as another bit of a highlight in case we don't have enough, or in case I need to use one in place of white, because I do believe, oh, is this white? I have no idea what this is. I think it's an eraser. What is this? I have literally no idea. I think it's nothing. It doesn't look like it's white, so yeah. I can probably use that in place of white, and then of course there's our greens that we can use for hair or eyes, or both, probably both. And so yeah, there's all the colors that we have to work with. So let's get into trying to create an illustration. So I think I probably want to try and draw my mayor, or not my mayor, my resident. Gosh, I'm gonna do that for a lot in this video. It's really hard to make round shapes, and also it lags a lot, so that's gonna be fun. I might I might speed up this next portion of the video while I am creating this illustration and put some nice music on it in the background for you guys to relax to, because this is about to get really slow and very tedious. But I will see you guys once the speed paint is finished. Okay, so there we have it, our kind of horrifying attempt at trying to use this map editor to draw. It was really hard to get sort of any kind of anything on this map editor. It was very hard for me to get curves. It was very hard for me to get straight lines. Again, like I said, I'm sure it's a lot easier and nicer to use on the PC because you can again change your brush sizes. There's an undo option. It obviously doesn't have wrist or palm recognition, so there won't be all these little dots all over the place. And again, most people are normal and won't be using this map editor to try and attempt to create an illustration, but I'm not a normal person, so I tried my best. I tried to create my previous mayor in my New Leaf Town. They were based off of Deku, so they have green hair, and then I wanted to use my favorite hair in the game is that bow wig that you get from Gracie Grace at her shop. I love her, and I think that the hair bow wig is super cute, so I always had it on my character. And then I also attempted to do the little t-shirt dress. Wow, I can't speak. I tried to do the little t-shirt overall dress that they have, which was very hard to do because it requires a lot of straight lines, and also it's white and we didn't have a white. And then I had like the face. I always have like the sleepy eyes. I think it's really cute. I have them on pocket cam right now. I just think they're really adorable and sleepy and cute, so that's what I tried to do. And so yeah, I tried to emulate the Animal Crossing style, and it's definitely very hard to do when you can't make circles. So yeah, that was the attempt, and this is obviously the map editor. I think it works really nice. I had a lot of fun designing my town. I still had a lot of fun trying to draw despite the fact that it was somewhat difficult. I'm sure if I tried to do like some super detailed like pixel art, maybe I could get something even cooler. I don't know, but for now it just serves as like a fun little thing to pass the time until we have our dear sweet new horizons. Thank you, Airplane, for that. If you guys have any other weird things you'd like to see me attempt to draw with, be sure to leave them in the description. I'd love to make an attempt. I hope you guys liked this somewhat strange video. I hope you liked this sort of strange character we have illustrated here today. If you liked it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and if you wouldn't mind to take a second to peek at my Patreon at patreon.com/SimonAESArts. We've got a ton of cool stuff that we're getting on there lately. We've got cool wallpapers, commission discounts, print discounts, potentially might be sending you guys stickers and prints in the mail. I'm still working out the logistics and the specifics of that, but if you're interested in any of that cool stuff or getting your name at the end of this video with great people like Elise Thompson, please go check out my Patreon. It would mean the world to me. The link is in the description, but if you didn't want to check that, again, it's patreon.com/SimonAESArts. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.